This segment is brought to you by Jig Masters. Step up your game with high-quality performance jigs, spinner baits, buzz baits, and more from jigmasters.com. And always, when in doubt, get the jig out.
You're tuned in to Off the Water. I'm your host, JP. This is the premier source for all things to do after a long day of fishing. Chill out, grab a cold one, let's go explore what there is to do off the water.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, JP, on another episode of Off the Water. Today, I got an awesome guest. He's originally from South Carolina, and we're going to touch a little bit there, but he's based in Texas, and he is the founder and director of the Yak Bassin kayak tournament series trails. No other than Mr. Preston Harris. What's up, Preston? How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. So, Preston, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you're about, and what got you into this crazy world of kayak fishing?
Yeah. So, for those that don't know me, I'm Preston Harris. I am an avid fisherman. Grew up fishing my entire life, and then I joined the military. Still in the military, and I was actually on deployment when I started kind of focusing on the kayak fishing world back in 2017. And after that, it was kind of history. I just kept watching a bunch of videos. I reached out to my buddy after I found a kayak. I was like, go buy this for me. Didn't even look at it. I was still out of country. Came home to that kayak, started decking it out the way I wanted it. It progressed, and multiple kayaks later and multiple tournaments later, and just coming up with all these crazy ideas in my head and trying them. Here we are today with the creation of Yak Bassin and being on podcasts that include tournament fishing and kayak fishing all together. It's just an amazing opportunity and to be blessed with that.
Awesome. So, for those who don't know about Yak Bassin, can you tell us a little bit about how Yak Bassin is actually ran and what you can expect from Yak Bassin as a tournament series itself?
Yeah. So just real quick about Yak Bassin is so pretty much it started whenever the military decided to move me out of South Carolina. I was fortunate enough to get stationed back in South Carolina for a couple of years, and then I changed career fields. They moved me out here to Texas, where I came to in Texas, there wasn't any tournaments, and I was big in tournament fishing in South Carolina. And I partnered up with my buddy, Jim Morsey, and I asked him, I said, dude, what about those people who can't travel to tournaments? And we started talking about it. We started thinking about ways to create online events. And then we kicked off what is now known as the Open Regionals, which is broken down to 9 different regions. And anyways, it started off just doing online. That was a success in year 1. Then rolling into year 2, we started getting phone calls, and that's what kicked off the Yak Bassin circuits, which are in-person events. We launched that going into year 2 in the Pacific Northwest. Amazing success. Then we ended it. Our second year just ended. We're going into our third year, actually starting in 3 days. So on the 4th of February, we'll be hitting our third year. And now we're branched out to where we have a circuit in Michigan. We're going to have a circuit in Virginia. The Pacific Northwest circuit is kicking off. Circuit in South Carolina. I'm trying to think of all these other areas. And then on top of that, we have the Open Regional online events. We have the Working Angler Series online events. And then we also just launched what we call Assault Series. So we're partnering up with a local our local club in South Carolina to do it's called the Assault Series, like I said, and it's about redfish, fishing for red drum and tournaments that way. So all this small idea developed into this crazy whole thing to now it's pretty much like a part-time job. I go to work, come home, I'm working on this. And now we're at the point, I'll be honest, is we're working on a true national championship event to get all those anglers who, the top anglers out of each series, from all the online series to all the in-person circuits, to come together in a centralized location. Haven't announced that yet, but it's coming together, and we're trying to make it minimum first place 10 grand. So that's the game plan right now. That'll be in 2022, but we're still working out all the details.
And you heard it first here on Off the Water.
Yeah. We haven't said anything about payouts yet, but yeah, this is the first place I've said something about payouts. That's what I was working on before this.
Very nice. So for those listening, I actually got into it. It was actually my first dabble into tournament series in an online format. I've done live series all the time, but an online format was kind of new to me at that time, because when KBF was doing it, and it's not a knock on KBF, but there's so many rules, regulations, and just so much to try to understand just to fish, that when you were doing the origins of the online series, this was very straightforward, and it was easy enough to understand how an online format tournament went. So, and it ran just pretty much like it, one tournament on a day, that's selected by you guys, and you pretty much you fish, lines in at a certain time, lines out. You have your time to submit your fish, and whoever's in that region. So for us, it was Illinois, Wisconsin. I don't know if Michigan was included or if that was off to the east. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, so this kind of changed.
Were.
Yeah, it's changed. Man, we listened to the anglers.
Yep.
That was the number one thing when we broke out those regions. You can't please everybody. You got to make the majority happy. If you can't please everybody, that's that. But we tried to, and we finally got our regions broke down. That's where we brought in, just this past year was what, Mid Central, North Central, South Central, Mid Atlantic. Stuff like that. So the regions have definitely changed. So I can see where it's kind of to where, just being branched off to where it can get confusing to try and remember the first year. But that first year, like I said, it was a blessing, man, just seeing the success of it. Because I never thought to this day that it would blow up to the point where we're at now. But yeah, definitely a blessing.
Absolutely. So on top of blessings, you'll see if you follow Preston Harris on any of his social media, he's on Facebook, Instagram, and he's all over Yak Bassin on all the platforms, including the World Wide Web. But Preston is a family man, and he, very much so. He'll tell you how much he's blessed to have his wonderful wife and child. How are they doing?
They're doing well. Like I told you, we were on quarantine the past 2 weeks due to being positive for COVID, but I'm happy to be out of quarantine because now my marriage is going to be going a lot smoother.
So it's a blessing you both are alive and not at each other's hands.
Absolutely.
Oh man, cool. So what are you paddling nowadays, man? What kind of kayak are you in?
Man, I like to consider myself a kayak connoisseur.
Woo!
Nah,
don't tell me you got with EJ and got a got one of the new $15,000.
Yeah, we don't get paid that much. No, man. Right now I'm pedaling, I should say, is a Hobie 360 PA14. And I got my wife. I had my wife in a new canoe. Frontier 12, new canoe, amazing platform and amazing boats. And I'm going to be most likely purchasing some more in the future, I hope. But my wife was in the trolling motor one day. I had a trolling motor on the front. She went out with me. And then she just had that thing full throttled, and I just heard it like screeching on some rocks. And I was like, oh, my God.
Oh.
So I switched it up. I got her a native Titan 13.5. So she is going to be pedaling that. But recently, I have been doing a little Google researching, and I'm going to be reaching out to Drew Gregory. I've been looking at the Crescent ultralights
Yep.
just because I love the layout and the platform. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not biased toward these companies. As much as I'd love a company to say, hey, come fish our boats. We'll help you out. That'd be amazing. But right now I can just, be a kayak connoisseur and jump from kayak to kayak and figure out what I want to do and what I want to fish as long as I can afford it.
Awesome. And shout out to one of our another hosts on Paddle and Fin, Brad Hicks. He's actually in the Crescent right now through his shop at Loveland Canoe and Kayak, and he's has nothing but good things to say about the ultralight. It's he says it's a very great boat for the rivers. It's easy to maneuver, and if you check out his Instagram and Facebook page, you'll see he's been in all winter. He has a dry suit, so he's been out even when it's snowing 1.5 feet right now. So God bless him.
Yeah, I think Drew Gregory just came on this past year to Crescent, leaving Jackson, and him being in charge. I think he's in charge of production or designs or something of that nature. But I think there's going to be some big changes, or some not even changes, but some big designs coming to Crescent.
Well, and I forgot who, someone had a Crescent and gave a little sneak peek over the weekend at Kissimmee about what they were dragging around. So
yeah, I saw that. That was a rough drag.
Yep. Cool, man. So let's talk a little bit about your hometown and where you're at right now in terms of fishing, man. Whichever one you want to start with first, the Sandy Cooper chain and Murray Lake, or if you want to take it to Texas, it's all on you, man.
Yeah, I mean, we can. I'm fresh in the brain on Texas, man, but let's just go ahead and dive back to South Carolina because that's where my roots are.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, man. The biggest lake I fished the most out there was Moultrie. It's a big old stump pole, man, but it's got some monster fish are in there.
Cool. And so how big is that lake in comparison to the whole Sandy Cooper chain that's out
there? Dude, that lake's pretty huge. Lake Moultrie. Okay. I mean, man, basically you got to think, that Santee Cooper system's all connected. So, that lake is huge. I say stump hole because that's what it is. Literally they chomped down a bunch of trees, built a dam, flooded it up, and there we are.
Cool, man. And then, connecting down, there's a tournament coming up this month through KBF at Lake Murray. And you had mentioned some experience there as well.
Yeah, Lake Murray, amazing lake, beautiful lake. It's literally located pretty much right at the capital of South Carolina and Columbia, South Carolina. So there's a lot to do in Columbia. It is the capital. So you think of it, it's most likely there.
Cool. And then coming back to Texas, where are you fishing in Texas now?
The glorious Lake Amistad.
Okay.
Or Amistad, however you want to say it, man. But
I'll ask our other host, Mr. Dustin Nichols, what he likes to call it.
Yeah, me and this lake have a love-hate relationship. So growing up in South Carolina, I was used to, my deep was probably 10, 12 foot. That was deep to me. But out here, that's my shallow. 10, 12, 15 foot. That's shallow. I'm Texas rigging all day in that. And then, I'm drop shotting at like 40 foot. So I came here and I hated it, man. It took me forever to catch a fish. First fish I ever caught off this lake was on a freaking Ned rig. And, dude, I hated it. I was miserable. And then I finally learned how to fish it. And now that I learned how to fish it, I'm gaining more confidence in baits that I never once had confidence in South Carolina. But I still miss my South Carolina fishing. I still miss going to the rivers and I don't know. I just love the South Carolina river system and the South Carolina Santee system because, dude, I love the swamps. You throw me in a swamp and I'm at home. The more gators, the bigger the fish.
it sounds like they should put you in East Texas, right? Right where Texas, Louisiana meet up.
Dude, I wouldn't mind it, honestly, but I mean, like I said, to us, being where I was at in South Carolina, we say gator or alligators are just nothing but giant green squirrels, man. So yeah, I'm a swamp guy at heart. I like going in the rivers and the swamps where all the gators are. So
Nice. And then out there, and I remember seeing it in a post one time, right before you came to Texas, I believe you got your PB bass out there, correct?
on Santee,
Yeah.
oh man, shoot, that's been like 2 years ago. I'm not sure, man. I've caught. I don't even know what my PB is. I'll be honest with you, dude. I never was the person to kind of carry a scale with me. I was never a person. I mean, if I had a catch board or at that time a hog trough, I would measure it, but I never knew the weight of my fish.
Okay.
So I mean, you could catch a 16-inch 5-pounder.
Yeah.
I mean, they're there, dude. Like 10-pounders are there. They're all in that system. But I mean, honestly, like I said, I've never really been one to like pull out a scale and measure them up.
Cool.
I can call something my PB by the looks of its mouth.
Hey, that was a little bit bigger in diameter than the last one.
Yeah. Like this past weekend, I caught like a 4.5, 5-pounder on Amistad, and it was like a blessing. I was like, all right, cool. But I was like, I didn't pull. I mean, he had a scale, but I was like, all right, I'm gonna put it back in the water.
So when you had mentioned that you're using different techniques here in Texas versus using in South Carolina, what changes have you made to accommodate your fishing style out in Texas?
More cranking and drop shotting.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it.
Nice.
Never really threw a crankbait in the Santee system. I've never drop shotted until I came to Texas, ever. And that's kind of the biggest changes because on that system, on the Santee system, you focus more on the timber, the laydowns. You can throw a spinner bait and they'll bite. I mean, I don't care. You can harsh on a spinner bait all you want. That is a dead bait. That sucker's not dead. That'll catch you some fish on the Santee or top water, man. I mean, I would always throw a specific top water bait. And I mean, we would kill them. It would be a finesse top water. Just skip it under some hang downs or some timber laying over. And I mean, dude, you'll slay them.
Nice. And I take it now that with this deeper water, you're now in a more clearer, more pressure because of the clarity kind of situation, right?
Yeah, that and I'm not used to rocks.
Okay.
So that was the biggest thing that got me cranking was rocks. I'm used to muddy, like swamp, man.
Yeah.
Muddy slopes, just trees and grass and everywhere. Here was rock. And if you were lucky enough, because this lake, there's nothing that stops the wind. So an average day is 15 mile an hour, 16 mile an hour wind.
Fuck that.
Yeah, it gets bad, man. So it's a super dangerous lake because you can be out there and then all of a sudden a storm would start blowing in and you're in 3-foot swells. You're like you're at the ocean. So, I mean, but at the end of the day, like it's still an amazing lake to fish. It's just for me, it was so different, seeing rocks and trying to fish these rocks. Like I didn't know what to do. I thought maybe I could throw a jig. A jig bite in South Carolina was amazing. But like I said, all new to me, man. So cranking and the drop shot was the biggest changes.
Cool. So, with your time in the military, have you fished anywhere else in the country or the world that people would be on their bucket list or they want to go to?
Well, I mean, Amistad is one of them. Amistad is one of those. It was a hidden gem until the lake is. You can literally go to Mexico and fish. Like, there's nothing that stops you. So we share the lake with Mexico, but the water levels are so low. About 9 years ago, this lake was in its prime, and bass actually found out about it and they came out here. I mean, dude, they were dropping 30-pound bags a day. But now the water's so low, those fish are still here. It's just the difficulty of trying to find them because this lake is 63,000 acres.
Yeah. That's a lot of square footage to cover.
Yeah, and then I guess the other lakes. I mean, another one would be the Santee system because everybody wants to fish the Santee. Yeah. And then I don't know, man. I fished what river? Was it the Patuxent up in Maryland? It's not really. No, I think it was the Patuxent.
Patuxent, okay.
Yeah, I didn't really do. I mean, I didn't really bass fish on that one. I kind of did more of the catfishing side on it. Dirty river, but I caught some nice catfish out of that. But I think the two that are main bass fishing lakes that everybody would want to fish would be Amistad and Santee Cooper. Amistad meaning being here on the border, being able to get a Mexican license and go over to Mexico and fish. So I mean, it's just. This lake is one that everybody goes to. Like Kurt Dove lives here, who fishes the FLW tour. A lot of pros come out here to fish.
Now, being that you have the accessibility with the kayaks and the close proximity, have you ever toyed with the idea of doing a float trip down the Devil's River?
Absolutely, 100%.
Oh man,
I want to have. Yeah, I've gone up there. I've gone to where I would launch at. I've been planning a trip for about a year and a half.
Okay.
Problem is, I want somebody to go with me. I don't want to go alone. And it's a 45-mile float from where you put in at down to coming out on the main lake. And then when you come out on the main lake, you're going to have somebody meet you in a boat. You can pay at paddlers camps. To stop at certain areas on the way down. I think there's like 8 Mile Point, 11 Mile Point, and so forth. But other than that, like if you don't stop at those areas, then you're going to have to hope to find an island in the middle of the river and throw a hammock up and sleep there because on both sides is private land. So Texas is a majority private land. So you either stop at those public areas or you hope to find an island. Okay. And that's pretty much how going down the Devils is. But yes, amazing area. I've gone out to the Devils. I fished the Devils going on a day trip. And I didn't kayak it, but I waded about waist deep with my dad, and we caught some amazing fish. Dude, it's a beautiful area. I'll tell you another area that's really beautiful that I fish that I think a lot of people should fish, and it's kind of scary, can be sketch. But fishing the Rio Grande.
All right.
So I have fished the Rio Grande, and I've caught the prettiest smallmouth ever to this day out of there.
Nice. Yeah. I'll definitely have to look back on do you have it up on your social?
Yeah, I do.
I'll definitely have to go and look back at it and see the prettiest smallmouth in the world.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, at least to me, the fish of the Devil's Rivers is on there too. The fish of Devil's River.
Cool. So we're gonna shift into another gear. We're gonna take it back to South Carolina right now.
All right.
And so we talked a lot about the fishing opportunities between both Texas and South Carolina. Knowing what's there, and there's knowing that there's that tournament coming up soon. Now when Lake Murray, and it's all kind of relative, and you said the capital's Columbia. Mm-hmm. If we're gonna stay focused in that area, I want you to give me 3 of your best restaurants in that area.
3 of my best restaurants in that area. Oh man. Oh, what is that? Dude, I gotta Google it real quick for you.
All right.
It is the Gizzard or something. Man,
and what's at the Gizzard?
I don't know. Hold on, let me make sure I got the right name for you. I don't know. It's like gizzard or lizard or something like that, man. My wife took me there when we found out she was pregnant with my daughter, and in Colombia, or it's in Colombia, but Lizard's Thicket. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, Lizard's Thicket restaurant, dude. Phenomenal. It's really good.
And what kind of food do they got there?
Just Southern food, man. It's all Southern.
All right, down home.
Yeah, it's all Southern. Yeah, Lizard's Thicket, dude. Top number one for sure. Let's see. What is another good area? Man, they made. I want to say. I'm gonna have to look this up.
By all means, dude. You're helping a lot of people out by doing this.
Man, I think this is in Colombia as well. Yeah. Kaminsky's Dessert Cafe.
Oh man, what do they have any specialty?
Banana Foster's is pretty good.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys like the Bananas Foster. I think that's what it is. But I can't remember. My sister took us somewhere one time, man, and they make that Banana Foster's right there beside your table. And it's freaking, I mean, it's amazing, man. It's amazing. And then last, the third one, man, I mean, you can never go wrong with Cracker Barrel, you know?
Nice.
I mean, I miss Cracker Barrel, dude, so. Nah.
They don't have any up. Well, oh yeah. I mean, you're pretty far down there.
Yeah, I'm a stone throw away from Mexico, man. Trying to think of a third restaurant, dude. I don't know. I can't think of a third one. But I can tell you, dude, number one for sure is that lizard thicket. Like it's a little small little thing, but it's good.
Nice. All right. So a lot of times, guys also are looking for craft beer. You got three breweries that you could give out?
Yeah, man. There's also, I want to say, I got the list of my breweries already, but yep. All right. You ever heard of the World of Beer? Oh, no, they closed. Never mind, man. World of Beer used to be in Colombia. I mean, you would think like 100 beers on tap and try, but they're closed. But there's three. You have the River Rat Brewery.
Okay.
You have the Columbia Craft. And then you have Swamp Cabbage.
Swamp Cabbage.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure between I think Swamp Cabbage is probably going to have the most interesting names for all their brews.
Yeah, man. I mean, I can go through some. Let's see here. I mean, I wouldn't drink that. A Mary Cinemas. I'm not a big fan of that. Some people might, but yeah. I mean, I love a good beer, man. Right now, I'm doing I'm cutting back from it right now, but I definitely do. I do enjoy mini craft beers and just I thoroughly love the taste of beer. So, just as I'm a kayak connoisseur, I think I'm a beer connoisseur as well. But yeah, those are the top three breweries, and then I can give you a list of a bunch more. I mean, I still have family that live all through Colombia, man.
Cool. Now, do you guys have any distilleries or moonshining? I would say, okay, hold on. Let's rephrase this. Legal moonshine areas. We know we could find the special moonshine. That's through the family, but any legal moonshine places, kind of like how Old Smoky or how those would be.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find. I gotta remember exactly how far this is from Columbia. So give me 1 second. Yeah, it's right there at Lake Murray. So it is Hollow Creek Distillery.
And it's moonshine that they're known for.
Here I'll give you the exact thing of what they're known for. All right, so I mean, right now they're doing hand sanitizer, sea salt caramel, Carolina honey, apple pie, copper parrot, and hellfire.
The Hellfire is probably the imitation of the Jack Daniels and the Fireball with the cinnamon.
Yeah, and then they have White Hot, which is a cinnamon. It's a cinnamon corn whiskey. Okay. And then they have a High Cotton Bourbon, which is really well known throughout there. So
cool. Now I know a lot of the ladies love the vineyards. Do you guys, being that close to the close to the coast, do you guys have any vineyards in your area?
So I can tell you, if you go down to like the Charleston area, which is about an hour and a half from Columbia, also more where Lake Moultrie is, there are a lot of breweries and stuff down there as well. So that's the glory of being in the Columbia area. You're an hour and a half away from the beach and fishing for reds if you want to, after you fish that tournament, go and fish reds, right? Right. And there's more breweries down there, but I was never a wine person, but there are a few. So you have the Hampton Street Vineyard and then the Mercer House Winery.
Okay.
So there's just a few, but I mean, again, like Columbia is a college town, man. So you got the University of South Carolina. You got the University of South Carolina there. I'm not a fan of them. Don't care about them. I'm a Clemson guy. But that's I mean, you got to think about it. They're going to have more breweries than you can think of just because of being a college town. They're going to have little hole in the wall joints. But I mean, I'm always open if people are there and they need to reach out to somebody and say, hey, I need help with finding this. Hit me up and I'll get you as much guidance as possible just of being around that area.
Nice. Yeah. And that was the next set of questions was, what's your favorite hole in the wall bar that's in that area, being that it's college town?
Dude, well, actually, I think it's still open. So you ever heard of Wet Willie's?
I sure have.
Yeah, there's a Wet Willie's in Columbia. Nice. And Wet Willie's is so they used to do 110 proof slushies. And you could get them in a fishbowl. Let's see. So they're still all about the slushies. So I think that's still open in Columbia. So Wet Willie's would be it. Like they have they do all the alcoholic slushies.
Nice. So, on that hot day in February, you go ahead and get yourself a booze and foos slushy and call it a day if the bass ain't biting.
Right now they're talking about at least in the upstate part of South Carolina where I'm originally from. They're talking about getting snow on Sunday. So,
good, because we just got 1.5 foot here in Chicago, and I want to spread the misery everywhere.
Yeah, so it's. I mean, we take it as a grain of salt when they tell us it's going to snow. If it snows, it snows. If not, I mean, it is what it is, man. But yeah, there's Wet Willie's would be the number one. It's not really a hole in the wall, but that's like where a lot of people go to.
Cool. Now, let's say away from the bar scene, is there recommendations that you would give to anyone who's looking to do other activities like hiking, mountain biking, or like or just even like museums or family getaway, family destinations?
Yeah, man. So again, you're an hour and a half away from Charleston. Charleston is very, very, very historic. They have the the submarine there in Charleston. They have what is those tours? What is the name of that boat? The Yorktown in Charleston that you can go on to. And the submarine is the Hunley. Yeah, the Hunley submarine in Charleston.
Okay.
Again, that's an hour and a half away. I want to say there is you had the zoo in Columbia, which is really nice. You have the South Carolina State Museum. You also have in Charleston, again, an hour and a half away. You have the South Carolina Aquarium.
Okay.
Which is, we used to. My wife's a teacher, so she would have a teacher's pass and could get in for free. So we would go there often. And if you have people who are interested in like the Confederacy and all that stuff, there's a South Carolina Confederate relic room and military museum that's open. That's in the South Carolina State Museum. So there's tons to do for sure. There's also old plantations that you can go and visit as well.
Oh, cool, man. And any places that you would recommend for like hiking or like where you could take in some of the sites out there?
Let's see here. So Columbia is not really it's not really the mountain region.
Okay.
But let me see. You'll have to travel just a little bit to get out of the actual area. You have the Harbison State Forest. You can do that. But if you go more toward the upstate of South Carolina, which again, you're literally an hour and a half away from the coast or an hour and a half away from the mountains. It's your call, right?
Yeah.
I can tell you exactly where I would hike. So if you go upstate South Carolina, you can go to Wildcat Branch Falls and see the waterfalls. And then on the other side, if you go toward the other way toward the coast, you can go see some of the lighthouses in South Carolina. Now,
are you in relation to where you're at or where your family's at? Are you guys near the what do you call that? The oh man, I'm blanking on it. Where you drive out, it's part of the peninsula, part of the Carolinas.
You talking about on the coast side?
Yep.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, we're from the mountains, man.
The mountains and the swamps.
Yeah, but not where the cousin loving goes on. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you said it though, not me.
Hey, I'm just saying that's West Virginia.
Nice.
No offense, West Virginia.
I think the only person from West Virginia listening on here is probably tied up traveling right now, so you're okay.
Yeah, hey man, listen, I got some of my good friends are from West Virginia, so hey, they need loving too.
Hey, that's right. So let's bring it on back to Texas and where you're at, because you're in a very unique spot in Texas, and I'm sure, and you had mentioned earlier, it was pretty much a drastic change in lifestyle from where you're originally from.
Yeah, man.
So do you have? So we just talked about your breweries and your restaurants and these bars that have infused slushies. Do you have that too now, or is it completely desolate, rural? Dude,
I got a Walmart, man.
Okay, so you don't have to drive 20 miles for a Walmart.
No, but I gotta. If you need something for real, you're gonna have to drive 237 miles to get it. So,
man.
It's not fun, man. So I'm blessed at every location I've gone to. Just the location doesn't make it; the people make it.
Yeah.
So I've met some great people here that have made this a good time. It just me, I'm not that big of a fan, just simply because I like versatility in the types of water that I fish, and I like being able to know that if I need something, I can go to the store and get it instead of having to order it on Amazon and hope to God that I got the right thing. And then if it comes in and it's not the right thing, I got to send it back and wait another 3 days, right? Yeah. So, I mean, if you think about it, man, the only chain restaurants we really have that you can go in and sit down, like actual restaurant, not fast food, is an Applebee's and a Chili's.
Oh, man.
So that's the only two actual things we got that are not fast food.
Okay.
And then, I mean, you have all the local stuff, but I mean, it is what it is. There's not many of those either. It's like 2 or 3.
No, man, and now for you, you said the people who make it. How was adapting to, I would say, not necessarily, okay, so adapting fishing wise, waiting on that, but having, in terms of being away from family and starting a family out here and adapting overall, having to pretty much change what about life in one spot to life in a new spot. How is that? I mean, how does one come to terms with that?
Yeah, man. So I think I've gotten really used to it over the past 10 years.
Okay.
But I will tell you this, leaving Charleston and having to come here, it hurt.
Yeah.
Just because, I loved being in Charleston because I was far enough away from my family that they could not come and see me in a split second. They had to plan it out, but I was close enough to where if something happened, I had to go home. And I could go home that same day and be home in a little over 3-4 hours. But it hurt leaving there. I created again. That's where I got into kayak fishing. That's where I got into kayak bass fishing. That's where I met some of the greatest friends. Don, Steve Healy, Chad Quick, Jim Morsey. I met a lot of friends through the kayak fishing network. And then I created what was Chucktown Kayak Bassin. And I had to leave all that to a board and take off. It sucked, man. And just leaving the friends and the family that were there. And then right after I leave, my sister ends up moving to Charleston. So, I mean, it sucked, dude. But, I mean, to me, I never really tried to fall in love with the area, but I fell in love with the area there. Yeah, I mean, I think more along the lines, I'm just kind of used to it. It never really bothers me that much, but that one bothered me a little bit.
Okay. Well, it's cool that you still get to stay in touch with those guys, especially Jim. I see, you and Jim doing a lot of behind the curtain.
Yeah.
And it brings back a piece of home to you, man.
Yeah. If he's not in Facebook jail, then he's definitely working with me.
Nice. So, well, hey man, thanks for sharing that. Let's move it, man. Let's play this game.
Oh Lord. Yeah.
All right.
Let's see here. I have never seen my high school diploma.
I think that's true.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I've never walked stage.
Yeah.
So my mom, the only reason that comes to my head is because my mom called me. She was, so unfortunately my great grandmother, she passed away. She's 90. She was 91. She just passed away back in December. Okay. I was able to go back home for that, but my mom calls me this week and she's like, yeah, I'm just going through some things, trying to get things organized from the stuff we got from your grannies. And I said, okay. She goes, oh, and I got your diploma. I was like, I've never seen that thing. I was like, I've graduated 10 years ago. Yeah. And I've yet to see it. And yeah, that's the way I got into the military, man, was literally a note signed by my principal saying he has completed, because I left school 6 months early.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I don't, because they told me I didn't have to go anymore. So I was like, oh, I finished all my stuff. Why do I need to go? So just sign me up. But yeah, so I've never seen my diploma, man. Never seen my diploma. I finished my bachelor's degree this past year. I'm hoping I can see that, before I go into another thing. But hey, we'll see. We'll see.
Cool, man. Well, congratulations on finishing your bachelor's. That's especially, doing what you do. That's a huge achievement. Especially that's a lot of time taken away.
Yeah, man. I'm one of those idiots that decided to start my master's right away. So I'm living the dream.
Yeah.
At the same time, while my wife tries to do her doctorate, so we are both in school full time, and we're both being parents, and we're both working full time. So you can imagine the juggle there.
And then you manage Yak Bassin.
Yeah, and then I got Yak Bassin on the side. So we're trying to come up with this whole, doing this, doing that, but that's the joy of life, man. But I wouldn't change it. I got a great partner in life. She at first she wasn't, she was kind of hesitant about the whole kayak fishing thing, but I think I got her turned around to it. So, if I have to go leave or anything like that, I said, hey, listen, I might need you to do a few kayak things for me. So I got to train her right.
Nice. I'm still working on getting one to catch a fish right now. So
Hey, my wife, I got a picture that's probably on my Instagram too. This was back when we were in South Carolina and we had ponds in our backyard, and she caught a giant.
Nice.
So I was impressed.
I'm actually headed down your way at the end of February to I'm going down to Gunnersville. So
yeah.
I'm looking to hook into my giant out there.
Yeah, dude, there's some nice fish out that way too. So I mean, I don't know, man. There's just some great fish all around that region. I mean,
Yep.
my eventually want to fish Okeechobee. That's my game plan.
Even looking at Kissimmee, what they pulled out over the weekend. That's
like 93 1/4 inches. Yeah.
Yep. So
that's
insane. My true confession to you is that I've never ever wound up with a smallmouth bass in a crock before.
I'm gonna call BS.
You're the one who caught the picture.
Yeah.
No, it's absolutely true. That's I caught it. I had a tough day. It was the one day I was fishing the one day for the tournament. I only got one, and when I got him in the boat, I had my crocks kicked up forward, and he managed to nose his way in, all the way into the foot of the crock. Hold the crock up. All you see is a tail flipping out of the crock.
Oh man, dude, freaking smallmouth bass, I cannot stand.
I love them,
dude. I can't stand measuring them. I love catching them. I love the fight, but trying to lay them on a measuring board, yeah, they can kick rocks on that one, dude.
I'll never forget that I had my one tournament in Madison on the Madison chain in Wisconsin, and I had it was a 19. I'm like, just stay still, like the body staying still. All of a sudden, that tail, like as soon as you move your hand, then the rest of the body starts wanting to go.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, you're knocking it off the board. I'm not losing a 19-inch kicker fish right now.
Dude, I never caught a smallmouth until I moved to Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I love, and you know what? Just a quick thing about the smallmouth here in Chicago. I got the Old Town autopilot to go on Lake Michigan, but with COVID, the areas I want to fish, they were all the lakefront is closed. So that means the beaches to launch at are closed. You cannot park in any of the parking lots. So until the mayor opens up the lakefront again.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So you know what? The way I looked at it, give them another year to grow. They're going to be even bigger this year when I get out there to go get them. So I am super stoked about that. Oh yeah.
No, man, I was just lucky just because the Devil's River is filled with smallmouth. So Lake Amistad, Devil's River flows right into Lake Amistad. So That's the only way I was able to catch smallmouth, man. But yeah, I enjoy the heck out of them.
Cool. So what's next for you and Yak Bassin, and looking forward to the future, man?
Dude, honestly, right now, we're focusing on my ultimate goal. I would love to have a circuit, an in-person circuit in every single state. If you're in a big state too. But right now, the biggest goal is that national championship.
Cool.
So we have a promising a city that is going to guarantee us 100%. If we can get up to 100 anglers, they're going to promise us what we've requested.
Nice.
As far as sponsorship money.
So we're going to pull this up right now, and for those who are watching this on YouTube, and if you're listening, you go to yakbassin.com, and then if you want to find out more and get into this national championship when it does happen, because again, without us anglers, Preston can't make it happen without us going to it. So if you want to find out more, you could go ahead, get yourself underneath what is it? It is the the open regionals. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about the map breakdown, what region you're in. So like here, we were talking about Illinois. So it used to be like this upper part. Now it's Illinois, Indiana. And I'm glad you did that. And I'm glad you listened to us, because even Wisconsin, man, there's some big bass that are up in Wisconsin that Illinois just can't compete with because of how, the pressure here in Illinois, and how,
mm-hmm.
Not saying that we're poorly managed, but Wisconsin gets a lot more natural resources dumped into them than what we do. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're interested and you want to get into it, if you're listening, you're not, we have our tournament trail series for Paddle and Fin, which are live meetups, but this is all you could do it online. And then just go to the website, scroll on down, and you'll find everything you need to do on here. And any questions, you could always just go ahead and message Preston directly on any of the social media platforms, and he'd be happy to help you with anything that's out there.
Yeah, and if you guys can't fish the open regionals, just because you work on the weekends, that's when we had the Working Angler series, so Monday through Friday.
Yeah. So there's no reason, and you know what? You meet a lot of people, you network with a lot of people throughout this, and it's a great thing you got going, man. So kudos to you, and hey man, again, if it wasn't for Yak Bassin, we'd probably cross paths on Wicked Weights, but other than that, we wouldn't cross paths the way we did.
Yeah, man, and I really appreciate. I was telling you before we came live, I saw the OG. This is the OG shirt that he has on. I was literally, my wife has a cricket, and this is the first year we started. My wife has a cricket, and she was cutting those for me, and I was peeling them and putting them on shirts in my spare bedroom. So I mean, we started from the bottom. We're still at the bottom, sort of. But we're growing, and it's a blessing. But man, I'm just truly thankful that you invested your time in the Yak Bassin, and that you're allowing us on here just to talk about Yak Bassin, talk about Lake Murray, Lake Moultrie, the Santee system, and just talk fishing, dude. I love it.
Hey, that's what we're about, man. So, well, time is yours. I want you, if there's anybody who you want to give a shout out to, sponsors, people in your life, anybody who is important to you, this is the time to let them know, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. So obviously, number one, God, right? So none of this is possible without God being on my side and having a relationship with Him. That's the biggest thing that I let people know. And if they choose not to fish Yak Bassin because of my beliefs, that's fine with me. I'm never one that's going to put my Christianity and my beliefs and force it down someone's throat, but I will run Yak Bassin the way that I see fit due to my beliefs. The other side of that is, my wife for giving me the time to do that. And then the biggest, one thing that I really wanted to hit on, or not the biggest, obviously God's the biggest, right? But the other side of it is you guys, right? Yeah, we call them, when I do it, it's like hashtag Yak Bassin family. Like I built Yak Bassin not as a business. Anybody who works with us, all our circuit directors, they know that they're not a member of Yak Bassin. They are Yak Bassin family. They are my family. That's what I built this to be, and I built it to be like that. Of course, you have your business aspects, but if it wasn't for everybody who invested in Yak Bassin and took the chance, you included, to just see this out and continue to see the growth of it, then this would never be happening, ever possible. So just thanks to everybody who has actually invested in us.
Awesome, man. Yeah, and from that point, is there any platforms? We've mentioned platforms. I put them out there. Anywhere that people can find you or Yak Bassin that we hadn't mentioned?
Yeah, OnlyFans. Nah.
So that's the new GoFundMe right now.
Yeah, man, I gotta somehow get sponsors for this national championship event. Nah, dude. I mean YouTube, but I mean you just type in Yak Bassin TV on YouTube. We're there, but you'll see it. You can even go to our website. I think that's pretty much it, dude.
Cool. I'm glad we covered everything. And Preston, man, I just want to say thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for taking the time to talk about both places and opening up a piece of you about how your hometown made you feel, man, and your where you came from.
For sure, man. That's the first time I've ever said that out loud. So,
and for those who are going, and this is to help those who travel to the area who might not have an idea what's going on, but this is to help them get them in the right direction when they get out there. And things to do off the water. So
yeah,
thanks for being a guest here. And you know what? You're welcome back anytime. So
yeah, man, I really appreciate it. I appreciate you having us on. And again, I just appreciate everything you're doing for the community. And then again, just to everybody that's listening, whoever is going down to fish that event on the Lake Murray, if you guys have any questions about the area, any questions at all, just hit me up. If I can't help you, I know people that will. So yeah, I'm here for you guys. So
awesome, guys. So remember Preston Harris, and then that's it, man. So this is going to be another episode. This is episode 2 of the year. Thanks for being an awesome guest. And guys, I just want to say it's coming up sooner than you think. Start checking out, start getting signed up, start making your reservations. But tournament season's coming up, and we are going to have here we go. Wrong one. There we go. This is our Paddle and Fin Trail Series schedule. So the 9th and 10th of April, Dale Hollow for the Open. And then if you're in a club, the Clash of the Clubs. We head up to Tippecanoe in Indiana and at the end of April. The Coldwater Chain. And with the last episode, we're going to be partnering with Topwater, Michigan Kayak, and Indiana Kayaks for this event. So big meetup there at that one. Then we bring it over. This is actually the wrong date. It's going to be 6/18. I got to find the correct banner when I get a moment. But 6/18 is going to be the Madison Chain. Got switched over because of the Bass event going down in Texas on the 12th. Then we come here to Illinois, South Elgin for the Fox River. And then we swing it on over to Lake Erie and the Menominee River in Toledo. And then after that, you're in the Invitational and Championship in La Crosse in September. So big money to be paid out there. A lot of fun, a lot of meetup. We want to see you guys. We want this to take off as well. So like I said, start looking into it, start making your calendars open, and start booking up, because these are popular areas and they're going to go fast when they get booked. So get on it right now. And then last but not least, want to give out to our show sponsors and supporters, Rocktown Adventures. Gear up and head out when you're in Northern Illinois. Visit Rocktown in Rockford, Illinois. Jigmaster Jigs, Wicked Weights, and TRC Rod Covers. And then last but not least, Old Town for always being a friend and supporter of the show. And guys, that's all I got for you off the water today, man. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you back on the flip side. You've been listening to Off the Water.
Thanks for tuning in to another killer episode on Paddle and Fin. Don't forget to go check out our website at paddle_and_fin.com. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel at Paddle and Fin. If you got a question, comment, want to hear from a future guest on a future episode, feel free to email us at paddle_and_fin@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Paddle and Fin on Facebook and Instagram. Shout out to our show supporters, Angler. The Angler button and app just makes for a better time on the water and creates a virtual logbook for every fishing outing out on the water. Shout out to Rocktown Adventures, located in northern Illinois, for all your kayaking, camping, and hiking needs. Shout out to Jig Masters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to jigmasters.com